Hello, Viola's auditioning for symphonic orchestra. This is a video to help you with the excerpt, or the second thing you play. It's called A Midsummer's Night Dream, or A Midsummer Night's Dream, excuse me, by Mendelssohn, Felix Mendelssohn, one of my favorite composers. And you see the word scherzo at the beginning of this, or scherzo. It is meaning very fast. And you also see pianissimos. This is very fast and very soft. I don't expect you to go that fast. When you hear recordings of this, you'll be like, whoa, that's insane, that's fast. And that's not something that I expect. So you're demonstrating that you understand how to try to go as quick as you can, but play well. I'll state that again. Don't go any faster than what you can do well. Okay, so take your time practicing slowly and understanding the concepts and speed it up as much as you can. So I'm going to first kind of talk about the fingerings that I use and why I use those fingerings. And then I'm going to talk about how to practice this and with some style items that will help you be as successful as possible. So first off, think about the key signature always in anything you do. That should be your first step. You look at the music and go, oh, there are two flats. That means I have B flat and E flat. I have low ones on the A and the D string. I have low twos on all strings, all of them, C natural, F natural, B flat, E flat. So if you encounter those notes, and you actually don't play on the C string here, but if you encounter those notes, you know where they're at. So that's the number one thing to think about with anything that you, always, what is your key signature? Number two, what is your time signature? In this case, it's 3/8. So there are 3/8 notes in every measure. So if I use a metronome, I'd set it to have 3 counts, and I'd set the tempo, and then I would have whatever it would be. And so in this particular case, what that means is we can count to 3 for all 8 notes that we see, and we can also treat all 16th notes like 8 notes. So if you're used to thinking quarter, quarter, eighth, eighth, quarter, that would be 8th, 8th, 16th, 16th, 8th, at the same tempo with a new time signature. So know that the time signature makes a difference on how you kind of count and think about this. But if I were to count at the beginning, it starts on the third 8th note, so it would be 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 3 and 1. Now, I don't think counting is going to be your biggest problem with this, so I'm not too worried about that, but that gives you a glimpse into how I count and what I think about when I first encounter a piece like this, and I think about the time signature. So make sure you think about key signature always, make sure you think about time signature always, okay? Don't worry about the tempo marking for right now. So you should know that I usually try and do a scale or something to warm up to get my fingers set. For right now, I would encourage you to just practice the notes on the D string and the G string, where these notes are. So I'm going to play those notes and kind of hold them. In this key signature, we have open D, low 1 E flat, F natural, we have a G, and then fourth finger would be A, just regular A. So that's where your fingers. So on the D string, you'll notice my finger pattern is all whole steps with a low 1 E flat, 2, 3, 4. That's a really big hand stretch. So know that you have that on the D string, really big. You probably wouldn't keep first finger down. You'd reach up to 4 and then release first finger, or go 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'd let my first finger creep up because there's going to be a lot of tension in the left hand if you keep it that way all the time. But you should know that you need to reach for those notes and know where they're at, okay? And that they're all whole steps apart. Excuse me, drop my shoulder blades. On the G string, it's similar, but there's no A flat unless it's marked extra. So in this key signature, we have a high 1, low 2, 3, 4. So on the G string, high 1, E, low 2, B flat, whole step 3, C, and then high 4, D. So I would practice knowing where those notes are, okay? So that's kind of my take on what I would think about with the key signature. You should also know that on the A string we have low 1 B flat, and if I look at this, the whole thing doesn't go above a B flat, and the whole thing doesn't go below a B flat. So that's one handset that you might practice. So putting together those notes, I'm going to start on a 2 on the G string, low 2, B flat, and go up to B flat, thinking about this key signature. So B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, notice that's a scale. So this is in the key of B flat major, could be in G minor at times. It kind of changes at different times. But for our purposes, we don't go outside of that range, and it's a scale, so it's a great way to warm up for this piece, thinking about that. You also have some accidentals in here to take note of and how we change where our fingers go based on the accidentals. Other than one spot, I do everything in first position. So there's one little chunk that I'd have you shift up to make it so you have less string crossings, meaning when you're going fast, your bow doesn't have to suddenly jump to one string and jump back. That can be really hard to do. If you're going slow enough, it's easy to do. But I would recommend second position for one chunk, and we'll get to that. So starting to play this piece, I would encourage you to learn measure by measure, and then put two measures together. And then do the next two measures and put those two together. And then put a 4-bar measure together. And do what I call 4-bar phrases, because this piece is kind of built that way. You should also take note that there is a mistake in the music. I have that marked in the fingering version online, and so know there's a mistake in the music, and I will get to that. But going measure by measure, I'm going to start with the first measure and the pickup. Pickups should always be up bow unless noted as a down bow. So in this case, we're going to go up on the 2 and then 3, and then a low 1 E. So it should be this. I'm going to be in the middle of the bow, trying to start up bow. I just past the middle, but after my up bow, I'm basically at the middle, maybe a tiny bit close to frog, and then for right now, I would play on the string staccato, stopping the bow. So that's the first measure. Second measure, 2, 2, 2, low 2s. I would practice that till I get it, and then I'd put them together. So here's the pickup and the first two measures. Going on, the next measure, take note that it starts up bow. So high 1 natural, not a low 1 E flat like we've had with the key signature, but high 1 E natural because of what's marked. And then low 1. So I go back to the E flat there. I'm going to do that again. So 1 open 3, 1 open 3, low 1. Then 2, 1, open 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to put those two measures together, starting on the E natural, your third full measure, up bow on E natural. Low. And the next measure is exactly the same as the measure you just played. So second line down. Following a measure, we go open D down the scale and back up. I'm going to put those two measures together. So I'm starting at the beginning of the second line, and I'm starting on an up bow. All right. Excuse me, I should have started on a down bow. My fault. It should have been a down bow. Excuse me. And now I'm ready for the second line, third measure. And this is where I have you shift. You don't have to. You could just go 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 4, and that could work. But I like to shift up 2, 2, 3, 1, 4, 3, shift back, 3, 1, 2. It just allows you to not suddenly jump over to the A string for that B flat. And I like it to be quieter because we're at the end of a decrescendo. And that B flat sticks out on the A string for me. And then I also don't have that string crossing real quick. So again, second line down, third measure, I go 2, shift 2 on a G, low 3, so my finger spacing is this, 2 on a G, low 3 A flat, 1 F, 4 B flat, 3 again A flat, and then I shift back for the next measure, and I'm on the G, back in first position. So that measure would sound like this, second finger F, shift up 2, low 3, 1, 4, 3, and then shift back 3. And it's a tiny little shift, 2 to 2, and then 3 to 3 coming down. And so if I put that measure together, starting down bow, that measure sounds like this. And then I shift back, the next measure sounds. And that's just like your first full measure. Okay? I'm going to put those two measures together. I'm starting second line down, third measure, second finger shifting up to second finger. Sounds like this. Those are those two measures. Okay? Now, here's where it makes more sense for me to say, we repeat the same thing again. Because we do. All right? When we get back to that, where I just finished that measure, that's G, F, E, your second line down, fourth measure, it's the exact same as the first measure. And the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 measures are the same. The error happens in the third line down, second measure. That should be the exact same as your fourth measure. So one more time, your third line down, second measure, currently has E flat, C, B flat, G, F, D. Those notes should be D, C, B flat, G, F, E flat. Just like the top line last measure. Exact same measure. It's a misprint by the people that wrote this for the state audition. They wrote it wrong. And it's going to be fixed because this is not right and it's not what we're going to do for our audition. So I have written that in the part that you see online. I encourage you to use that and know that this measure is wrong, okay? So it's all the exact same thing until we get to the third line down, fifth measure, all right? That's the measure that I asked you to shift the last time. This time, I would just stay in first position and use low 4. So this is after our crescendo, third line down, fifth measure, starting on F. That's where I'm going to start again, because it's all repeated before that. I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2. All in first position. Next measure, 1, open, 3, 4, 3, 2, and it's a low 4. High 1, low 4. So I want to be then the exact same thing. Next measure, bottom line, 1, open, 3, low 4. Next measure, 1, open, 3, open, high 1. Ready? Here we go. And then I go 3, open, low 1, open, 3, high 2. So 2, 1, open, low 1. Some people do go to second position here and go and do this differently. I like to stay on that one. So I just stay in first position for the end and watch out for the B flat after your E natural, low 1 on the B flat, high 1 on the E natural. So I didn't really finish doing 1 measure, 2 measures, put them together, 4 measures, put them together. But I would practice that way. And I would make sure that I really have this that way. Then I would go at a slow tempo, trying to make sure that I'm thinking about dynamics, playing softly. When you play softly, be more up close to the fingerboard. And if you can see that, I'm not close to the bridge with my bow. I'm not over the fingerboard, but I'm closer to the fingerboard, and I have quite a bit of bow tilt and not a lot of weight. Those two things will help. I wouldn't try and bounce this. I'm not trying to play spiccato, but if I'm really light and short with my bows and playing fast, it'll kind of do its own bouncing thing, the bow will. So just try and relax your bow hand more than anything and think, you know, and I'm just trying to be relaxed in the middle of my bow playing that way. And I'm soft and I'm just thinking about being consistent. So I would practice with the metronome. I would start slow and then go through it. I'm going to play right now all the way through this piece, and this is about minute 14, if you want to kind of come back to this to do it multiple times to practice. But this really is about going slow and getting it really in tune and being able to play consistently, and then turning up the metronome a little bit and going faster, and then turning up and going faster, and then going back and going slower makes this perfect, and then speed it up and get it as fast as you can go. There is no tempo that is fast enough. Like some orchestras, I've heard orchestras try and play it that fast. I wouldn't say it was as successful as I would think it should be, but going as fast as you can while playing well is the goal. So I'm going to play through this now. It's actually closer to minute 15 in this, but yeah, this is kind of a run through for you to know what it sounds like all put together. So here we go. I start on beat 3, up bow. 1, 2. Didn't play quite as well as I would have liked, but it gives you an idea of it at least. And I didn't do my shift to second position the way that I would have. But know that like it's practice, and I haven't done enough of that to be super consistent on this particular piece yet. And you've just got to kind of keep at it, keep working at it. But I know you'll get it. Let me know if you have any questions.